Okay.
Guruji,
Yeah, please.
shall I start? Because
Yeah.
it's
Yes.
okay. Okay, Guruji, the questions as follows from Panna Vitlani from the UK. She's saying, thank you for showing us the position for the self-healing and others. What is the prayer and the invocation we need to do? Is it a specific prayer or to any spiritual being? What invocation should we say and how?
Okay. So see, what happens is in Reiki, we are not invocating to any special force other than the Reiki force. The Reiki force is known by various names in various parts of the world. In India, we call it the Pran Urja. The scientists might call it oxygen. So it is not a matter of calling some deity. It is calling all positive forces which are in and around you. We don't have to do invocation of any specific deity. However, if you belong to a particular religion and if you believe in some deity, there is no harm if you first bow down and then you pray to that particular deity, because it helps you as a healer to become more connected with the process which you are doing. It is just like when we go and sit for an examination, before we appear for the examination, before we take it up, actually, we just pray to the God in which we believe in, and then we start to write the exam. So as far as the world of Reiki is concerned, strictly speaking, we are just asking to get connected to the Reiki energy, which will be done for you in the process of attunement, about which I will be talking today, little later. And if something helps you to be more present in the whole process, and if it is praying to your deity, then it definitely would help in that particular way. Not in the healing sense, but in getting connected to whatever you are doing currently.
Thank you, Guruji. Gayatri from UK just wanted to relay her thank you, gratitude for what you are teaching her and everybody.
Most welcome, ma'am.
The question Bhavini has asked from the UK is, when providing energy to two locations at the same time, example the heart and the thymus, it was seen that the right palm was on the heart and the left on the thymus. Similarly, specifically was seen again in the throat and neck location. Does the specific palm have to be in that location?
See, the answer would be both yes and no. To start with, it really doesn't matter, because the same energy flows from here as it flows from here. But if you have studied any of the occult sciences like palmistry, so various religions have taught, or various civilizations have taught, that that the energy on the right hand would differ a little from the energy in the left hand. Looking towards that perspective, which in China was known as yin and yang, the right hand of a male would have more to do with the yang energy, that is the masculine energy, and therefore it will be more suitable at the back. It is only if you want to differentiate between the left and the right energy, and that happens at a very, very advanced level. If you think in that way, that a particular disease is related with the masculine kind of energy or the Shiv Shakti or the yang power, and I have to provide healing to the yang power, then comes the differentiation between the left and the right hand. But practically speaking, I have never used that while doing Reiki, although I have thought about it in the past 15 years, but I have never actually used it while doing a Reiki healing. We keep on using it a lot in Nadi Vigyan or in acupressure or in energy healing, but I have never ever used it in Reiki healing. So if my right hand was on the heart and the left hand was on the thymus, or the right hand was here and the left hand on the neck, it could have been even this way. It is just that people have their own preference. When I tell you that you have the liberty to bring one hand here and one hand here, every one of you would have a preference. If I tell it to you to do it 10 times, you will probably do the same way. So one person would carry one kind of a preference, while the other person will carry another kind of preference. It really does not initially matter whether the right hand is used for the neck and the left for the throat, or vice versa.
Thank you, Guruji. The second part of Bhavini's question from the UK. When providing energy to all 24 locations or chakras, should one be just concentrating on receiving energy on a particular location, or should there be a certain prayer, affirmations in the head relevant to energizing that location or organ?
So this is a nice question. But what happens is we don't actually need various things for various points. Either you talk about an affirmation. Affirmation has nothing to do with the world of Reiki healing. Many people confuse affirmations with the other healing modalities. I have had patients who are suffering from hypertension, and they come to me and they say that, you know, my doctor has told me to affirm certain things, so I do it in the morning for 5 minutes, and then before I go to bed, I write down, life is beautiful, my life is going to change, it is really very nice, I have nice relations with everyone, etc. That's fine. So affirmations, see, we have to understand something about the mind. Now, had she not mentioned the word affirmations, I would have not told you the background now of the mind. But now, since she has mentioned along with prayer of a specific point, she also did mention affirmations. Therefore, it is necessary to speak about affirmations for a little while. So see, the human mind, it is divided into two parts broadly. First is the thing which we know about, your memories, your calculation power, your analysis ability, and that is called the conscious mind. And then there is the part of the mind which you are not consciously aware of, but once we hypnotize you, then you become aware of that particular part and you start speaking about those memories which you are not aware currently when you are conscious. Affirmations have to deal with the conscious mind. Affirmations do not deal with the subconscious mind. So what happens is, if a problem is there of the conscious mind, affirmations do help. For example, a couple comes to a psychologist and the couple says that our relationship is not working out very well. So what we do is we either talk to them or we give them a questionnaire. The questionnaire is made in a very clever way that will point out to us what the actual problem is between the couple. So the questionnaire will dwell upon various life aspects. They will fill the questionnaire and then we'll get to know what kind of distortions in their thinking patterns they are carrying about each other. And we'll only talk to them about those distortions. And then we will prescribe them a new kind of a behavior, which is known as the CBT, or cognitive behavior therapy. And we'll tell them to take baby steps every week to make sure that they get rid of this kind of a problematic thinking pattern, which happens consciously. And we'll tell them to maintain a diary. So they will do affirmations, they will maintain a diary, they will take all conscious steps. This helps only when the problem is in the conscious realm. However, sometimes the conscious is perfectly fine, but the problem is coming from the unconscious or the subconscious realm. And how does that happen? I am reminded of a very famous murderer in America who wrote with blood on the mirror of a washroom in which he killed a person, that stop me before I kill another man. Stop me before I commit another homicide. And he was pleading to the police to do it. Why? Because he says that something happens to me and suddenly I have this urge to kill somebody, and whosoever would be passing by, I would just kill. It is just like an anger tantrum. You can understand very well when you are not angry how the ideal behavior should be, but when you are facing that anger fit, then something happens to you and suddenly you blast. Now, this kind of a problem is not coming from an irrational behavior. This is not coming from your inability to think positively, but it is happening automatically. And if this is happening automatically, then affirmations, in my experience, do not at all help. Now, the question is, what is Reiki? Reiki has nothing to do with the thinking at all. Whether you talk about the conscious realm or the subconscious realm. If a person is sitting in front of me, whether he is thinking about Reiki healing or whether he is thinking about a movie which he has to see in the evening, irrespective of that, I am going to perform the Reiki healing session, and irrespective of whatever he is thinking, I am going to heal him or her. So affirmations have nothing to do with the world of Reiki healing, and this is largely the reason behind it. Whether we are healing one particular area or the other particular area, if an affirmation is not needed in one area, so the affirmation is automatically not needed for the other area. So when it comes to the 24 locations which the querist is talking about, we don't need any specific affirmations or any specific different invocations for those particular points and areas. And if there would have been a need, I would have definitely shared that with you.
Thank you, Guruji. Thank you for that explanation. Ruby from the UK is asking, thank you, Guruji, for providing us with a wealth of knowledge into the world of Reiki. My question is it okay to do self-healing partly and finish it the next day? Or do we do it all in one sitting on all 24 positions? I am asking because on second day for self-healing, somehow I couldn't sit calmly to finish self-healing on all 24 positions, as I suffer with jitters sometimes, so I did it to some parts and had to leave it. She's thoroughly enjoying your detailed explanation about the Reiki and is extremely grateful.
Thank you. You know, when we teach normally any course, people would come to you and some of them would definitely ask you, sir, is there a possibility that we pay in installments? So this is kind of a similar question. Is there a possibility of doing Reiki session of 24 positions in installments? Well, yes, there is. There is no harm done. See, what happens is, if we are doing 4 positions in the first time, we are providing healing to 4 locations. Now, there are locations which are left, which we haven't provided Reiki on. Whenever we have time, we can go and provide Reiki on those positions which we did not provide Reiki in the previous session. Also, as experience grows, you will realize that every person needs more of Reiki at a particular point because that point sucks energy more. So you realize that that chakra is energy hungry. Therefore, it really doesn't matter if you do part of a Reiki on one day and the other part on another day, whether it is a consecutive day or whether it is a non-consecutive day. However, the strength or the confidence and the commitment, they increase manifold if we make sure that we follow a 40-day regimen to learn Reiki. It increases our self-will. So because of that, we say that it is nice if you can follow a 40-day regimen. Moreover, she mentioned jitters, right? So do we, as I get it, jitter means something like this, shaking.
Yes, my understanding is that.
So my understanding of jitters is the same thing. So if there are
Yes,
jitters, that means from my level of, from my perspective, it is that the dryness in the body has increased. Now she can check it by just scratching her arm. If she can scratch her arm with a nail, and if there is a white line, that means the body is suffering from dryness. And as we
dryness.
grow old, a lot of us suffer from this problem of dryness. And if it is, then it is more relevant than that she first provides Reiki healing to the sacral chakra or the Swadhisthana chakra. Now, this is not a question which she asked, but just she mentioned it and she thanked me. So I just wanted to let her know that if this is the problem, then if she starts by giving Reiki healing to Swadhisthana chakra, probably she'll get rid of the problem, and then the question is going to dissolve. Once the problem dissolves, the question also dissolves by its own.
Dissolves. Thank you, Guruji. Thank you for that. This question is from SS in India. We are suffering from chronic ailments. Is it possible for us to self-heal from Reiki? Or initially, we need other methods to support the curing process? Or do we need other methods?
I've always maintained that apart from issues like anxiety, apart from issues such as sadness, apart from issues such as fatigue, if we are suffering from any kind of chronic issues, Reiki is not an alternative, especially for beginners, to the other mainstream medicine. I've always maintained that we must go by the doctor's advice as far as the medicine world is concerned. But side by side, you take a prognosis from the doctor, and then side by side, you start to heal yourself with the help of Reiki energy. And it would be a miracle if you can cause a change which the doctor seems as if it was something which could not have been done just by merely having the traditional medicine. Moreover, since they have not mentioned to me what the chronic ailments they are suffering from, it becomes difficult for me to give a specific advice. Sometimes people, when they write questions, they talk about ailments with which we have dealt with in the past 15 years. So it becomes easy for me. So for example, if I have dealt with 100 patients of diabetes, and by chronic disease they mean diabetes, then probably I can dwell in more in my answer while telling them what should they do as far as the world of Reiki healing is concerned. But for any kind of chronic ailment, we do not say that only depend upon the Reiki healing session. This will be grossly negligent and irresponsible if somebody tells you that. And especially since you are a beginner, the situation becomes more cumbersome. So please follow the doctor's advice, and please side by side do Reiki, and you will achieve very fast results than the results that could have been obtained without Reiki.
Guruji, my name is Manjula Popat, and I would like to ask you about self-healing, certain points, 24 points. Can we have to do all those self-healing by sitting, because my arms and wrists give me aches? So can I stand up and heal myself at the back? Because by sitting it becomes more difficult.
So see, what happens is whether you sit or we stand, important thing is we be comfortable. It should not so happen that by doing Reiki, we are aggravating the problem in our hand. We did not used to have a problem in the wrist, but by doing Reiki, we have developed a strain in our wrist. That would be doing something which we never wanted to do. So whether you sit or you stand or you lie down, The important thing which we are trying to concentrate on is bringing on the universal energy onto the area which is to be healed. Your question is very similar to some of the questions which people ask me when I prescribe them certain sound therapy mantras. They say, sir, do we have to sit in a Padmasana position like this, straight, with the spine straight and the legs folded, and then we have to do the mantra in front of the temple or the mosque? Is it so? And we have done a lot of experiments. I have done a lot of experiments with my people, and I have found out that even if you don't do it, even if you do the mantra while you are resting on your bed, you are lying down, still the mantra power works. Why? Because we are working on a mechanism of creating a difference in the waves around us. And it does not matter for those waves if we speak them, if we produce those waves while we are sitting or while we are resting. The similar principle applies in the world of Reiki, that what we are doing in essence is trying to direct the energy which is present around us, the positive energy, to the area which needs the healing. So it really does not matter that we are standing or sitting, but we should do it in a position in which we are comfortable. If we are comfortable lying, if you are lying down, if you are trying to sleep and you are not getting sleep, then it is far better that you do 15 minutes of Reiki while you are awake, while you are watching even YouTube. So I'm not saying that do it in the 40-minute regimen. That is in a 40-day regimen, which I strongly prescribed in the video, that you do self-healing. However, if you are tired and you are resting and you are trying to sleep and you have put on some bhajans or you have put on some nice video to watch, then side by side you can do some invocation, and after that you can put your healing hand onto that area, keep lying down, keep watching what you were watching, and that area would be healed. And I have done it myself many times.
Thank you very much.
Most welcome, ma'am.
Guruji, I've got a question on this question, because I wonder for 3 minutes if we have to keep our hands apart, away from the body. It's very difficult to keep hands steady. How can we do that?
Yes, that I'm happy that
especially if you're doing on another person. It will be...
Yes, I am very happy that you have asked this question, because this gives me enough proof that you have actually tried this out. Because once you try it, this should be the first question which would come to me. And it is difficult to keep a hand like this. What happens is, how much heavy would this phone be? Can you give me an answer? This is a phone. No matter which company this belongs to, maybe it is an iPhone or maybe, but you can see how much thick it is and how much thin it is, how much lengthy it is, what is the length and the breadth. It is made of plastic and some electronics. So how much would this phone typically weigh?
About 80-90 grams.
Okay.
Not much.
So you said about 80-90 grams. Give me one sec. Okay. So if this is 80-90 grams, and if it will remain 80-90 grams, then this is a fallacy in our mind. This weight which this carries, for us, it is not a definite weight, it is very relative. What do I mean when I say that the weight is relative? What I mean is that for a child this is heavy, for an old person this is heavy, for me this is not heavy, if I hold it only for a minute. So we will do a small little exercise. Do you have your phones with you, which are not currently engaged in this Zoom session? Or if you don't have a phone, good. Those who have a phone, very nice. We will do the exercise with the phone. And if you don't have a phone, at least you have a book. Any book near you. I'm going to prove to you that the weight of anything is for you not standard, but it is relative. So let us hold anything in our hand. Good. And now we have to stretch our hand while you keep holding this phone or a book in your hand. Now keep doing that, and I'm looking at the time. It is 22:29 here. That is 10:29 p.m. And let us see this small little thing which was seeming so light a little while ago. The weight is going to change. And slowly and gradually, when this weight is going to be pulled down by gravity, then the weight is going to increase. And once this weight is going to increase, it will become increasingly difficult for you to hold such a small thing like a book or a mobile phone. And that will show to you the power of relativity as far as the dimension of weight of matter is concerned. Things on the moon are not heavy, just as a feather is. Similarly, a refrigerator is. If you push a feather or you push a refrigerator in the space on the moon, it means the same thing. Now it is 22:30. Almost a minute has elapsed. Just 1 minute has elapsed. Probably 90% of you would have already started to feel the heaviness of the phone or the book which you had in your hands.
Yes.
It is just a minute. So let us try for 15-20 more seconds. And then we'll bring back our hands. For those of you who are feeling tired, they can put their hands back. All right. So now slowly we'll bring it back and keep the thing which was in our hand on wherever you picked it from. Did that thing which you were holding in your hands feel heavier than what you started with?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
It did.
Good. So things, you know, they get heavier. They get heavier. So for the first minute, when you work with a patient, it is light. Second minute, it is heavy. Third minute, it is like your hand needs a healing. It is not the other person who needs the healing. So what we do is we make sure while giving a Reiki session that we are seated comfortably, and we make sure that our hands are comfortably placed. So how do I make that sure? So I make that sure by, first of all, having a chair which has arms. You understand what an armchair is? Now, for example,
Yes.
yeah. So some chairs are
Yes.
armless and some chairs have arms. So this is an armchair.
Yes.
This is the arm of the chair. Some skills require this arm and some skills do not. Choosing of a relative furniture is so important in the field of medicine and in the field of music and in the field of therapy. If I have to play guitar, I can't play with these arms. So I have chosen a chair where the arms are foldable. Now here you see, I pick this arm up and now I can have my guitar here and I can play it. Now I am keeping this down. Now, if I am an allopathic doctor, then I don't need something with arms. Why? Because normally these doctors, they would just have a stool. They want the patient not to be relaxed, but to be alert while you are dealing with the patient. If you have to make sure that the patient whom you are dealing with is absolutely at comfort so that none of his conscious mind works, then you need a recliner. So when I do a PLR, a past life regression session, what do I need? At that particular point, what I need is a recliner. Now what a recliner would do is it will make the other person comfortable. So the other person is not bothered about any other thing. So this, and then the person is going to lie down. This is how you choose your furniture. So in giving Reiki healing, to people, your elbow is going to rest on this arm, and then the other elbow on the other arm, and then you are going to try to give Reiki. Slowly what is going to happen is that you are not going to give Reiki on each and every point. You are going to give Reiki only on specific points. So it is only an initial problem, but it will subside soon, and you will give Reiki only to a few positions. And before giving Reiki, you will make sure that you are positioned in a way in which it does not cause more strain to your arm or to your wrist. And that you will be able to adjust after 16, 17 sessions when you will start taking them. Then this is the first problem which you'll face. And I'm glad that somebody asked me this. It shows that you did try. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Guruji.